So here we are. Yeah, 228. We've come
Mm-hmm.
a long way.
Yep.
Um, and we are privileged to have a returning guest. One of our favorite guests is Herman de Tolenare from the Netherlands. He's joined us for a couple of Susie and the Banshees episodes in the past. We've covered Juju and Join Hands and
Returning
talked.
champion, Herman.
Yes, returning champion. He is a musician in the band Cheap and Nasty, and we're privileged to have his bandmate Terry Van Ditmers with us today, and
Mhm.
she was a driving force behind Cheap and Nasty. So, Terry, welcome. Love having you.
Hello,
Hello.
thank you for having
Um,
me.
yeah. So just a little bit of background. In that famous incident, not incident, but occasion when you met Susie and the Banshees backstage, Terry actually took some of those photographs that we used the last time, right, Herman? She was with you?
Yes, but Terry took photographs in the dressing room of Paradiso, one of these photos is on the cover of Pin Fanzine number 4. I started Pin Fanzine in 1978, and it was originally only in Dutch, but later I also made an English language edition, and Terry sometimes wrote for it and sometimes made photographs for it, including the when Susie and the Banshees played in Paradiso in Amsterdam in 1981, and shortly before that we had interviewed Susie and the Banshees at their hotel in Amsterdam. Yes, and then that's the interview is in PIN English language number 4. And
Yeah,
that Terry's photograph of the dressing room in Paradiso is on the front page.
yeah. So Terry, do you have? We kind of heard Herman's war stories, so I wondered if you had any anecdotes that you had from that encounter. Any?
You mean about Susie and the Banshees?
Yeah.
Philip's kind of a super fan.
Aha.
Hmm.
I had
Well, we
heard
were
some of
just.
the music, but I didn't even know their name until after I got married.
Mhm.
Then I found out.
Well, actually, I'm in a chat group now about 80s punk and wave, and we just discussed Susie and the Banshees in connection with The Cure because Robert Smith played for them at some point.
Mhm.
And we talked about how Susie and the Banshees were quite big in England then. And The Cure were pretty unknown still. And
Mhm.
they were very surprised because I remember they were playing at Pandora's Box, which was a festival in Rotterdam they organized twice. And
Mhm.
they came out, and some fans came up for an autograph. So Susie and Steve Severin thought they wanted an autograph of them. But they walked up to Robert Smith because they had never heard of Susie and the Banshees except
Uh,
when they were playing at
Uh,
Pandora's Box, but they wanted
Oh,
an
that's
autograph
kind
of
of
Robert
yeah.
Smith. So yeah, that was a
that
because they were
I
big
bet that
here
didn't go over well
before
with
they got
Susie.
big elsewhere. And also, he talked about that it's a bit
Oh, that's sad.
strange that if you talk about early punk, they name, well, the most important bands that we all know, like The Clash and The Damned, etc. But they never mention Susie and the Banshees, and they definitely were a major part and a very big influence on people. You only have to look at 80s pictures to see what the influence of Susie and the Banshees was on people.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah, that's kind of sad to be part of the movement and so integral and yet at the same time a little bit forgotten. It's kind of like the Korean War of
Well,
punk music.
but
sort
we're
of.
we're kind of
I
here to
think
talk
over
about it,
here, Lollapalooza was sort of a rebirth for Susie in the States. Because
right?
Jane's Addiction were highly
Well, there's a
influenced by
Mhm.
them, and they were invited on that first Lollapalooza tour. So that was
It's
a
funny you
big
mention
deal
that
over
because
here.
if you read the Budgie's memoir, uh, Susie and what's his name? their guitarist.
This
I
John
Did
McGough,
John
No, no,
McGough?
no.
Uh,
Kenny.
Dave Navarro.
Oh, Jane's Addiction's guitarist.
Oh,
Jane's,
sorry. I thought
okay,
you meant
Jane's
Susie and the
Addiction.
Banshees.
Yeah, well, there's some interesting stuff in there about Dave
Mhm.
Navarro and Susie. But anyway,
Oh
we're
my.
here to talk about
yeah, let's not go into
a
that.
different band
Yeah,
today.
we talk about cheap and nasty.
Cheap
Let's
and
get
Nasty.
back on track.
Right.
Um,
And so
okay.
it's, there's a compilation album that was released in 2024, late 2024, I believe, called Punk, The Early Years, 1977 to 82. And the two people that we have here today had a song from their band Cheap and Nasty on this compilation called No More Violence on TV. So you sort of had a renaissance here recently and a reason to kind of reflect on your careers back then. So
Mhm.
how did that all come about? How did Terry, how did the compilation happen? And I believe it led to a festival even. And yeah.
Well,
Have you a live? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
the guy who organized it, the Oscar, he got in touch with Herman for his book because he's writing books about punk in Paradiso. He started with one copy um, just for a one-off. They asked him just for a special occasion to write it, and that was the first days. And then it developed to a series of books about punk in Paradiso in the 70s and early 80s. And at some point, he made a special that was edition number 4 about Dutch punk, and he contacted bands who had been playing Paradiso back in the day. So that's how he got in touch with us. And well, Herman is quite easy to find, even if you don't have his number, because he hasn't moved since those days. So he's quite easy to locate. So he got in touch with Herman, and well, that's how we got into the book with the pictures, etc. And next he decided to organize a festival because he was re-releasing his first edition, and he thought it would be good to to organize a festival for the bands, early punk bands who played at Paradiso. But he wanted to only bring out material that hadn't been released before. But it was very difficult to get hold of the master tapes. So in the end, he decided also to use never before released tapes. So that's how we got on it. Well, of course, our record, we do still have the master tape, but something went wrong somewhere, and he used his own copy of the record to record it from and put
Oh,
it on
wow.
the record. That's why it sounds a little bit wonky.
Got it.
Interesting.
Now, that said, I did ask beforehand if it would be okay to play the track. And I'll ask again in case you have. That's,
There's at least uh, you know, two people here from the actual band.
yeah, yeah. Is it
Mhm.
okay to play
We're
that
all
right
about
here?
consent here at yeah.
That's
I'm
right.
That's
fine
right.
with it.
It would sound decent, but
Sunshine came out.
Yeah.
You can maybe see my face now.
yes,
We can.
actually, we actually can. Time to wake up.
Looking
So
good.
was this song on your LP Cover Girl?
EP, yes, it was.
Yeah, EP. Okay, okay. Um, and it's my understanding that it was a collaborative effort, Cheap and Nasty. Like I did read somewhere that they attributed a lot of the lyrics, most of the lyrics and the songwriting to you, Terry. But
Yeah.
it was a collaborative effort, though, right? I mean, there was a lot of uh, cooks in the kitchen, I guess.
Well, Herman and I both wrote songs for Cheap and Nasty, but the
Mhm.
ones on the EP are all written by me,
Okay,
And
and
both
that
the music and the lyrics.
yeah.
But in the well, one of the first songs we did, I wrote the music for, but because it was bit of a strange melody. It went through 3/4 to 4/4 to 3/4 to 4/4, but somehow it's very, very catchy, apparently. I found it very hard because I'm the bass player to sing along with it. So then I asked Herman to write the lyrics. So he wrote the lyrics for that song, which is called The Lodomite. And despite the rhythm change all the time, it's like I said, it's very catchy apparently because everyone who played with us, like Crash, but also Sounds who were on tour with us, they couldn't get it out of their heads, which is how it came about that Crash asked us if they could put it on a record called, which later was called Bullshit Detector. But in the very end, they decided not to put us on because they decided they wanted to concentrate on the English market. And well, we're not English.
And they knew you weren't bullshit.
Yeah.
I have one remark. You said that the compilation LP came out in 2024, but it came out this year and 31st of August was the festival to launch it, and there about 10 bands played from Eton Crop, one of the old bands, to the Flying Spiders, which were the only early Dutch punk band to get 2 LPs out on a major label, and then they were sacked. There were only 4 Dutch punk bands early Dutch punk bands who ever got a record deal on a big label. Everyone else had to found their own label, DIY label, like we did. Yes.
That makes you authentically punk.
Well,
It's
it's
not
and
authentically
it
punk
is
to be on a major label.
very unusual how we got the money to make the EP, because there was a motorist who had broken Terry's leg, and he had to pay Terry damages, and we used that money to rent a studio for one day, and in one day you can record 4 songs, and then we had to decide which 4 songs, and also not 4 long songs, because then the sound quality is not good. If you put 4 5-minute songs on an EP, that is not good for the sound quality. So we had one song of 4 minutes and 20 seconds, so on one side, and so the other song on it should be short, and that became No More Violence on TV. Terry asked me, shouldn't I drop one of my songs to have one of your songs on it? But I thought, well, these are really the 4 best songs, and my songs were usually longer than 2 minutes. So if that one of my songs would be on the same side as I'm a Photo Model, which is our longest song, that would cause sound quality problems.
Interesting.
So that is how
Never would occurred to me that that would be a factor, that the length of the recordings would affect the sound quality, but I guess that's what you're dealing with the.
with a
It
digital
came up.
situation.
It came up on one album that we dived into, Todd Rundgren, A Wizard, a True Star. On that record, it was an LP, but he put like every second worth of sound that you could fit on a record, and as a result, the sound quality is pretty poor, but it's an amazing album.
Yeah, that was it was a pretty good album, but I guess an audiophile would be able to criticize it. But
Yeah.
um, so well, that's So what is no more violence on what is there any hidden meaning to it? I mean, what is the
I like the overt meaning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
Why is
It
violence
seems
more
overt to me.
acceptable on television over here than nudity, for example?
Right, which is kind of ridiculous in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah, well, we have some views on that in Europe.
Yeah.
with the American problems with women's
Yeah.
breasts, which
Yeah.
we find totally ununderstandable, but never
Yeah,
mind that.
no, sensible people over
No,
here don't get it either.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I basically wrote about things that annoyed me, like it just really annoyed me, this big discussion, which actually mostly was on in America, that they thought Starsky and Hutch and that kind of stuff was too violent, and it should be banned from television because it was bad for the children, etc., etc.
Which is
And I
kind of
just thought it
ridiculous.
was very, very hypocritical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one
Well,
thing I hate, and that's hypocritical people.
yeah, and
Yeah.
the lyrics also say, well, there is plenty of a lot of the people who said it is bad for the kids consider themselves very pious Christians, but in the Bible there is a lot of violence, and also in other religions, like in ancient Greek religion. Well, the song lyrics mention how Electra murdered her mother, and in the Bible, Cain killed Abel, etc. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really hypocritical to say that there should not be depictions of violence on TV. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting Starsky and Hutch reference. You don't hear that all the time, but I was a big
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starsky and Hutch
Phil,
fan when I
Phil
was a
and I
kid.
grew up
Oh
loving
yeah.
Starsky and Hutch.
Well, that was
Oh,
Oh
pretty
Greg.
yeah.
big on Dutch television, and when this discussion was going on.
The mid
Yeah.
mid to late 70s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the
with the
sequel not so
fast
good.
cars.
The movie,
The
Um, but
Actually,
muscle
Aaron,
growing
you
up,
cars.
we
mentioned,
had we had three cats named after characters on Starsky and Hutch. We had
Uh-huh.
Starsky, Hutch, and Huggy Bear.
Wow.
Who was
mm,
he was the pimp that gave them. He was their informer.
right,
Of
played
yeah.
course,
by,
also love the muscle cars in it.
Yeah,
right, the El Camino or
The car was practically a
El
character.
Torino or El Camino, whatever it was,
El,
with the
El,
white stripe on it, red. Of
El
course,
Yeah,
Torino.
my dad had the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, and I loved to drive along with him in it.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Mm,
But Aaron, you mentioned not a lot of punk rock isn't really known for its subtlety or hidden meaning. It is, like you said,
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind of in
true.
your face, right? It's probably overt.
Yep.
Uh, so I mean, that's the whole point, I guess. I remember when I was a kid, I had a friend, Richard, who was really into the Sex Pistols. That was kind of like my first exposure to punk rock is through him, and
Mhm.
He's the one that got
you
you
know,
into Susie, right?
yeah, kind of indirectly, I guess.
Gateway.
Yeah.
I think Kate.
Who?
What's her name?
Kate Bush.
Yeah, Kate's Bush.
Okay.
Yeah, when he used to say Kate's Bush all the time, so I said, "Oh yeah, my husband's really into that band, Kate's Bush," and one of my coworkers just laughed at me. And ironically, he was 17.
Well, at least he
He was
laughs.
like a temp,
Yeah.
a volunteer temp. He was getting credit for school, and he was 17, and he kind of laughed at me, and he said, "It's Kate Bush. It's a person,"
Right.
and I'm like, "Oh." That's not how he says
Well,
it.
you
I'm
make
going to
one
get
tasteless joke one time, and you live it. You live with it for the
one
rest of your life.
one time.
So,
You still say it.
I do not.
Okay.
Um, but back on track here. We're talking about punk rock. We're talking about the origins of it. So, did it kind of grow up in the Netherlands simultaneously with this movement in England? Was it kind of like you know, kind of in lockstep? I mean,
Well, I think for Terry, it started really in 1976, so very early before the first Sex Pistols album was out, etc. For me, it started 1 year later. Then was the second Mont de Marsan punk festival in France, and there a Dutch music paper sent a reporter to the festival. Well, he didn't like the festival, and he slacked off, especially a French a band of 3 French women and 1 Dutch woman, the Loos, and Saskia de Jong, the drummer of the band, was from Leiden, my city. Unfortunately, she passed away earlier this year. Terry and me, uh, Saskia de Jong was really the first Dutch punk. She had already been around Malcolm McLaren and Vivian Westwood's shop in 1975, 76, and then she went to Paris and founded the first all-girl punk rock in France. She later came back to Leiden, and we played together with her. When we played in Paradiso, Saskia de Jong's new band, the Miami Beach Girls, were our support band. Well, it is really they got a lot of support. The Clash immediately asked them come to our tour of Britain and Ireland later this year and be our support band. Then and they played with Susie and the Banshees in the Music Machine in London. It was a bit and so for while I was talking about for Terry it began in for Saskia de Jong it began in 75, for Terry in 76, and for me in 77. I read that Slack Off in the Dutch music paper of the Loose. They said these are slum girls who don't belong on a stage, and I was very angry, and I thought I should get to know more about punk, and that was really why pin fencing started, and my first band started, the Vipers, and when I met Terry, we founded Cheap and Nasty.
You got like an encyclopedic almost recollection of these things. I always like to listen if you carry out the whole narrative there. But
Yeah.
the person you said that passed away, was that the cat? That wasn't the cat lady, was it? Didn't the cat lady just pass?
The
She was
drummer.
part of the Bromley contingent.
No, he means Saskia de Jong, the drummer of the Loose. Les Loose.
Okay, the drummer.
They were well, the Melody Maker dismissed. There was a Melody Maker reporter there who also disliked punk, and he said, "Well, the Loose are boilers," which is really a sexist word. But on the other hand, sounds there were many punk bands who liked the Loose. For instance, Public Image Limited, Saskia and the Loose guitarist, when after the Loose had broken up, Saskia de Jong stayed at the place of Public Image Limited, and so did the guitarist, and their guitarist later became our saxophonist. When we played in Paradiso, Raphael Devin, who had been guitarist of the Loose, became Cheap and Nasty saxophonist then, yes. Unfortunately, well, she joined just after the EP had come out. It's a pity that there are no recordings of her playing with us. She has passed away, like of the Loose. Only the bass player is still alive. Terry met her in Paris a year or so ago, yes.
You say she switched from guitar to saxophone?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's a bit unusual, but she was good at both instruments, and even before she joined the Loose, she had been a reasonable, successful movie actress. She had played with, I think, uh, Belmondo, and but then she heard the first Clash album, and then she joined the Loose. Yes.
Mm-hmm. after the first
Oh,
Clash album.
You asked
Yeah.
before if the Netherlands punk in the Netherlands developed at the same level and same speed as in England. It did not really. I knew about it early because I was reading English music papers. Um, it did start pretty early in the Netherlands, like in '77, but we were trailing a little bit behind because it got really big by the end of the '70s. And round about, say, 1980, it was very big. And English people who came to the Netherlands said they really loved the scene like we had in Rotterdam because they said, well, it reminds us of how it was in '77, '78. But
mhm.
well, there was a lot of exchange because we all traveled to England. Like I was kind of part of the Brighton punk scene in 1978, 1979. And well, later a lot of my friends also would go to London to see bands, buy records, clothes, and everything. So there was a lot of contact exchange. And in those days, it was always also when you saw someone who was a punk, you thought, hey, there's somebody who thinks like me. And you kind of immediately connected. Didn't really matter where you were from, and you would always help each other out. So if you would miss the last train home, then there would always be someone on whose couch you could crash. And it was the same when I went to England. I quite quickly found people who invited me to stay over. So, well, we all had very little money at the time, and I could almost always stay with friends or
Yeah.
people I just met. And it was never a problem because you could trust each other because you were punks amongst each other.
Cool.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah, that is. Now, I
That's
do
also how I
have
first
one
went to Scotland.
question specifically for Terry. Um, from your perspective, was there much misogyny?
No,
No?
not amongst the
I
punks.
mean, not amongst but I mean, like with journalism, because Herman specifically mentioned that he was that one particular journalist didn't like punk, but he was specifically kind of
Yep.
targeting the female bands.
Some about the four
Well,
skinny girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
journalists just didn't weren't interested in Dutch punk bands, so there were no journalists. So there was
Okay.
no
So you don't
misogyny
feel
going
like
on.
it was he
but
hated women and didn't like punk.
well, not we did not really get misogyny from within the punk scene, but once
Yeah.
I spoke to someone, someone in the music industry, not a punk, who told me, if you have a girl in your band, no one will take your band seriously. That is what
Mhm.
I heard. Yes. Well,
Yeah, that's what you experienced. Okay.
there have been five women in various lineups of Cheap and Nasty. So well,
Yeah.
Good for you.
and well, the first punk in the Netherlands, so was Saskia de Jong, so the first person, but there is a bit of a problem now from, well, not, I would not say it was out of misogyny, but somehow the women in Dutch punk bands have been a bit forgotten. I have written an in memoriam, an obituary for Saskia de Jong on punctuation, punctuation magazine, but that was the only obituary for here for her. But when the loose
Hmm.
played they got on the one hand. They got sympathy from, they got a big interview in the Sounds by Caroline Coon, and the festival, the audience at the Mont-de-Marsan Punk Festival really liked them, and the organizer said, "You will be the only band playing on both days of the festival." But on the other hand, they got misogyny, not only the Dutch paper who said you are slum girls, and the melody maker who said you are you are boilers. There was also the a French daily of the Bordeaux region, Zuidwest, and they said women should follow the maxim, sois belle et tais-toi, be beautiful and be silent. And the Loos did not do that, and that was very bad of them, yes. So, well, there was
Naughty.
sorry, yeah.
So Terry, you're a bass. Do you still play bass some, or just for kicks, or do you still pick up the bass guitar occasionally, or
Well, I switched to double bass in my psychobilly days.
Cool.
psychobilly day?
Wow.
That sounds interesting. Yeah,
So started to play slap bass for many
yeah.
years. And well, more recently I switched back to electrical bass, which was quite an adjustment. Somehow that felt much stranger than switching from electric bass to double bass.
Interesting.
But so I switched back because well, we kind of met up again with the old members of Cheap and Nasty, and we started to play again. And eventually,
That's
I was
nice.
playing. Yeah, we were playing with 3 people, and we were well. We got invited for gigs, to my surprise, and we were asked to play in a festival in Brazil. So we
Nice.
were preparing for that, but then unfortunately I fell ill, and then everything, yeah, that was the end of it. And yeah, I
I'm
would
sorry to
like
hear
to
that.
start it up again, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I'm back where I was, but I find it difficult to pick it up now. So
Yeah.
we'll
Understood.
see.
Yeah.
We see what's gonna happen.
Well, if you
I mean,
do,
I think there's the time of healing where you're healed from the actual injury, but I think there's more to it than that. I know when I had a major injury and had to go into rehab, I was in rehab for 6 weeks, but I feel like I didn't really heal for 6 months to a year.
so did you like really just gravitate to the bass, or I mean, how did you
End up
come
playing
to,
bass.
kind of fall in love with that instrument over others?
Well, when I was a kid, the thing to be was a guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I got my parents into getting me some guitar lessons when I was 12 or 13. But that
Nice.
were classical guitar lessons, and that was
Ugh.
kind of boring because you were just playing separate notes and you couldn't really play a song. So
Mm.
I did that for a while, and well, that was I had a bit of a motivation problem to rehearse all these boring things. So after,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I think I did it for a year or something, or maybe 1.5 year. No, probably 1.5 year. And well, that was it. But I couldn't play chords. I could just pick notes. So I could play difficult things with picking, but no chords because I'd never learned to play chords. And at some point, a friend of my brother, he got a bass guitar, and he said at the time that he got it just to fix it because he was always busy, um, you know, putting amps together and stuff. He also went to study electronics, of course, and I believed him. Later, he told me that was not true, that he wanted to be bass player, but he wasn't very good at it. But that was his excuse towards me. And then I just asked, oh, interesting, a bass. Can I try it? And he said, yeah, okay, go ahead. So whenever because I was friends with his sister, and whenever I was over there to meet up with my friend, I would also go over to his room to play some bass, and I really enjoyed it. But I thought, well, bass is pretty boring because it just goes boom, boom, boom somewhere in the background. And that was until I heard Jean-Jacques Brunel with the Stranglers, and I thought, yes, that's what I want to do. That sounds really fucking great. Oh, sorry, I'm not allowed to say that. That
Oh,
Sure
sounds
you
really,
are.
Fine.
Say whatever the fuck you want.
that
We're
was a
a
little deep.
we're adults. We're very adult, damn it.
So what, Brunel, you said? What's his name?
Yeah, Jean-Jacques Bonnel, the bass player of the Stranglers.
Okay. I think yeah, the Stranglers. I don't. I heard a reference to them in an interview that Herman sent me. Blitzkrieg Bop that you did recently. That somebody mentioned the Stranglers, but I'm not that familiar with. But who are some of the other uh, bassists that you draw inspiration from? Like I like, I don't, John Entwistle, uh, John Paul Jones, Tal Walkenfeld. Uh, is a very, she worked with Jeff Beck and stuff. Who are some other bassists that you kind of
You mean
admire?
emulate or admire or just
Yeah.
respect?
Well, there are bass players that I really like, and I like their sound. But for me, it was really Jean-Jacques Bonnel,
No.
and that's what
Okay.
I wanted to do. So that's what got me going.
That's
And then
Hmm.
you find your own thing. It was funny because we did a podcast for Irish radio, and that was with Gay Edward. And it turned out that she had exactly the same inspiration background as I had. And she said, well, I did the same when I saw the Stranglers. We would stand in front of Jean-Jacques Bonnel just to listen to him playing. And well, he was a big thing back then. So,
Okay. Cool.
which is also why he posed nude for the Melody Maker for Centerfold, because they were always
Oh,
joking
wow.
about centerfolds, and they were telling him from, yeah, well, you should be in the centerfold. And at some point he said, okay, I'll do it. So,
Mm,
so it happens.
Cool.
mm.
All right.
See,
So
I
listen to the
remember.
first two albums and you can hear. And he also did a solo album with his bass and his Triumph motorbike as instruments.
Interesting.
Cool.
Aaron, there's an audio edible in there,
Yeah,
Stranglers. But
we'll check them out.
find it. Which album would you recommend, Terry?
First
Stranglers
one,
first album.
It's like Herman had something he wanted to say a minute
like
ago.
hanging around, for instance.
yes, um, the Terry at one time got a bass pick, a present from Tina Weymouth of the Talking Heads.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Nice. That's another
And,
one.
and you can tell what happened to that bass pick later.
Well,
Well,
like
now
I
we have
said,
to know.
I was the finger picking kind, so I played with my fingers. And I'd asked around for somebody who was a bass player and if he knew a bass for sale. And well, that's how I got my semi-acoustic bass, which had a really good sound actually. But well, I was practicing a lot this time, and I had to wait backstage for my parents to pick me up at the Talking Heads show because because of that accident where the driver went through a red light. I had a plate in my leg and it had to be taken out, so I was on crutches. So I had to wait there backstage, well, behind the screens, for them to pick me up. And then I got to talk to Tina Weymouth.
Awesome.
And she looked at my fingers and she said, "Oh, that's really bad because I have blisters on them." And then she gave me her pick and she said, "Well, you should use this." And that's how I started to play with a pick.
Huh. So now
Nice.
you use a
Yeah,
pick, or do you
yeah,
still do finger? Do you use a
I
pick
do
now, or do
both.
you do fingers? Okay.
I do both. But the thing is, I was very fast at the time, so that's also a challenge to get back in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to kind of almost relearn your skill, I would
I can
think.
still play, but to be that fast and accurate,
Yeah.
I just will have to rehearse a lot to get the
Yeah.
speed back.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
well,
that
I
song,
could
Good.
try slow music, but that's not my thing. So,
I like that song, "Genius of Love," the Tom Tom Club. That's
mhm.
Oh,
Tina Weymouth, that's right.
she sings in that one, but I don't know if she plays bass.
Well, if you watch Stop Making Sense, she does
Does
during
she?
that. Yeah.
I
But
remember the girls all singing during that part, but
Well, she was the bass player. Yeah, she was
yeah,
the bass player of Talking Heads, and I did
absolutely.
like her style of bass playing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Talking Heads.
yeah, great band.
Hmm.
They just re-released Stop Making Sense, I think. They
About a
remastered
year
it.
ago, yeah.
Yeah.
We loved Psycho Killer at the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a great
It
one.
was good to
I heard,
jump around to pogo on as well.
Mm,
Just
yeah,
like hanging around, perfect pogo songs.
yeah.
yeah.
You remember Mary, Aaron, or neighbor upstairs?
Marry your neighbor upstairs.
Or tenant?
Yeah, our tenant here in Cincinnati. I think
Um,
you might have met
related
her at
related to
once.
Ken?
Nah.
No.
No.
Anyway, I went out to get in my car one time and she was singing Psycho Killer at the top of her lungs. It's like, wow. You could
Okay.
hear it all throughout the neighborhood. She was in her own world.
Good for
But that
her.
is a cool song.
Yeah, well, she lived in her own world.
Yeah. Uh,
Love you,
anyhow,
Mary.
right.
Okay.
So did you guys ever so eventually punk rock got to America and it was heavily influential in New York and Philadelphia and so
DC.
we interviewed a girl from a band called the B Girls who had shared a stage with the Clash at CBGB's, I think, the club in
In New York.
I think it's in Philadelphia, isn't it?
CBG?
No,
Oh,
New
it's
York?
Lower East Side.
yeah. There was
We
there maybe a
actually
branch out?
I don't know.
we actually sold 90 copies of our record to a record store in New York.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
So did you ever get a chance to come to America, Herman?
No, it was a
You-
bit difficult. Well, we were not signed to a major label. Well, we never tried also, but well, we uh, we went on a tour to various places in the Netherlands, in Berlin, in Germany, and to Belgium with Zounds, which are a band who started out on Crash Records and who still exist. And that was the only tour basically because in the Netherlands most punk bands did not tour because it's a small country, so even in one day you can go from Leiden to Groningen, which is pretty far for the Netherlands, but you can be back the same night. And we went to England we played in Ipswich and we stayed there at the place of uh, of a guy who had the fanzine, local punk fanzine in Ipswich, and we contacted him, and then we slept on the floor of his parents' house, and then the next day we went to London for an interview with Sounds uh, uh, magazine. Well, they really Sounds really liked us, and they said the Cover Girl EP was the second best record of the week. Yes, I
That
think.
guy in Ipswich, in the meantime, is one of the legendary names, has become one of the legendary names in the house scene, actually.
Hmm.
Okay.
But well, we were one of the few bands to get written about in the English press, which was very rare. And we also got a
Cool.
very good review, which was extra rare.
Yeah.
And that's how, when we went to England to do that gig, they asked us to if they could do an interview. So we ended up with an interview and a picture in the Sounds.
Okay.
Yes,
Did you
and
ever play the 100 Club?
no, we played in Ipswich in the
Ipswich.
Kingfisher. Yes, yes. And
Okay.
well, uh, we had plans to have a gig in Manchester, and there was a Manchester fans in who they tried to get a gig for us in Manchester, but then the guy said, "Well, the music scene is so bad, the venue situation in Manchester is so bad that I cannot get you a gig in Manchester. It's a pity, really. Well, and we and then we went back. All the whole tour was in Terry's small car, and well, just four band members and Terry's bass amp fitted inside, and then we went by ferry boat to Ipswich to Harwich in England, and then by Terry's car to Ipswich, and the next day to London for the interview and to bring some copies of our EP to Rough Trade shop.
Nice.
Somebody I knew from the Brighton punk scene had tried to set up a little tour for us in the south of England, but that fell through for some reason. I can't remember why.
Hmm.
And well, we split up. We did. My intention was never to become big. I just wanted to play in a punk band. And well, when we started to get famous, we split up. And then Herman restarted the band with different people.
Yeah. You've had different, aside from you two, you've had
Iteration.
different bandmates over the years, right?
Hmm.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. At a,
yeah.
and at a certain time, well, the new lineup played in the Netherlands, in Belgium. We opened for the band called Vice Squad from Bristol in England. We opened
Uh,
for them. They're rather well known, Vice Squad.
by squad. Okay.
Uh,
You
and
know what?
anyway, at the end of 1982, the problem was a lot of our gigs were in youth clubs, and at the end of 1982, the Dutch government decided to cut back on subsidies for youth club, and that meant became very difficult for punk bands to get gigs, and they said to me van, you should send an audio tape if you want to play. Well, we did, but then didn't hear anything, and I phoned them again, and they said, we lost your tape, sent a new tape, and
Oh
I
no.
sent a new tape,
Nice.
and they lost it again, and at the
Hmm.
end, we had a rehearsal, and then the others said, are there prospects for a new gig? And I had to say no. Well, we didn't disband. The band Cheap and Nasty has never been disbanded officially, but we forget to make plans for another rehearsal. That was really
Yeah.
well.
Well, when you do, try to set a date in Cincinnati. We'll come out and see you.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks. Well,
Come near Cincinnati.
Yeah.
We'll go anywhere within 2 hours, and that includes Kentucky and Indiana.
I,
You know,
uh,
we had
I,
a
I,
news program called 2020. And when punk rock was just starting to emerge, like in the early 80s, they did a segment one time that just put the fear of God in you. I mean, it was like, you've heard about
Well, and your parents.
satanic panic or whatever. Well,
Yeah.
they were talking about the Sex Pistols and all the slam dancing and self-harm and uh, Crash Darby and all these characters. And it's like, that news segment in me at
And
least, it kind of
oh,
it built up an image of the so how when at these
That's the
concerts
old
how
Hugh Downs show you're talking about?
yeah the old Hugh
Okay.
Downs hosted show at these concerts did you get a sense of uh, danger or was there any, was the audience ever so out of control that you felt endangered or anything?
not really. There was never really fighting at the concert. Sometimes there was fighting just outside when we played. We in 1981, just after our record came out, organized we had a concert in a bar in Leiden. Well, it was the first time they ever had live music on, and I asked the Miami Beach Girls of Saskia de Jong for their first gig. They had just been founded, be our support band then, and they came and we came, and after it was a good concert really, and after the gig there was a hand cart, and me and two 15-year-old girls who were our road crew pushed the hand cart back to the house of the singer of the Miami Beach Girls, who had also sometimes been our drummer, by the way, Maria. But Terry had invited a few punk girls from the Hague, and they were attacked just outside the venue by John Travolta discos. While you hear
It weren't discos. It
well,
were
Well, what?
okay.
So you say it wasn't disco? What was it?
no
No.
foreigners.
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
They
Now,
just came round the corner and they started kicking the two girls.
Jeez.
Oh wow.
And well, they fell to the ground because, well, it was totally unexpected, and well, we're two guys and one just kept on kicking them against the head, etc., and then the other one kind of said, well, calm down a bit, try to calm him down a bit, but he wouldn't. And then the night porter at the door, the doorman of the
Mhm.
club, he came in and he managed to free them of this guy.
Wow.
Were they Americans?
No,
Oh, okay.
now
Well,
my question there is, do
there was
you
no,
do
they
you think
were
it was
people with an
motivated
Islamic
by like the music or
background. I'm sorry.
okay?
there was once only time at a concert, well, not real violence, when we played in Berlin. There were right-wing skinheads who throw empty beer cans at us. Well, but it stopped pretty soon.
It did help that I did know very well how to swear in German, and I hadn't expected that. And then it was like
That's
I said,
actually
I said, if
yeah.
you don't stop throwing these beer cans, because well, I had to see my acoustic bass, and I didn't want it to get smashed. I said, if you don't stop throwing the beer cans, and I called them some names in German, I'm just gonna stop playing. And then, but then the rest of the audience wanted us to continue, so they were obviously told off by the rest, and well, they had no choice but to stop, and we just went on.
At least it wasn't bottles. At least it wasn't
Right. At least it
glass.
went full.
Yeah, but you're not happy if somebody
No,
throws a
no,
half full
not at
No,
beer
all.
can at the semi acoustic bass from 1968.
Yeah,
No.
Marie,
no. I don't.
yeah. Maria, who was playing drums, then said, "Well, if that happens, I just play louder on the drums." Yes.
That'll
There you
show
go.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
they hadn't expected me to be able to swear in German, so they were a bit taken
They're
back.
taking it
But
back.
Right
Cool.
now on my deck, there is about a 4 foot by 2 foot strip of sunshine left. So I'm back in the shade.
Yeah, I can see that. You're going back into the darkness. Well, Aaron, what do you
but
think?
there
I'm going to
was,
let you make
as
the
to the
call.
violence, there was a lot of violence,
Oh,
especially in Leiden with discos. So going to punk gigs was always dangerous. And I
hmm
still find it very strange to walk the streets of Leiden without somebody trying to drive me off the pavement or waving some kind of chain at me or a baseball bat or whatever.
Well,
So it's
Well,
pretty
you do
lucky that I
still
later.
look.
Hmm?
Well, you look absolutely amazing, but you don't exactly have that punk look still.
she's
I
wearing
mean,
a
you
shirt
might
that
have it
says
more in
kill
your
the cops.
clothing.
What are you talking about? I'll call the cops. I thought it said
oh,
kill the cops.
Mhm.
That's an Italian punk band, yes.
And there's a
Yeah,
little
still punk.
skeleton
Yeah.
hand.
right, right. That's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
So,
just listening to the stories. I don't really know that I have
Right.
any questions specifically. I'll let you.
well, what I was going to ask you is, should we do an Elite Eight, or do you think that that's
Uh,
we?
Up to you.
I don't know.
What'd you prepare?
Female punk rock stars.
Okay. Terry, the Herman's been involved in an Elite Eight before, but basically what it is it's a situation where we name two bands
So,
and you say which one you know are that you kind of lean towards.
your preference between
Yeah.
two.
And sometimes it can be difficult, and sometimes you're like, yeah, that one's great, that one, eh. So,
Are you up to it? If you don't want to do it, that's fine. Some people
Uh,
don't want to do it.
Are you asking me or Terry?
The
Both of
pair
you.
of you.
Okay.
I didn't hear that. Both of us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or-
yes. Mhm.
Lisa, why don't you read them off?
Okay.
So
And I will I will be very precise. Susie Sue versus polystyrene.
Mhm.
Ooh, that's a
Yes.
very difficult one. We only can say one or the other. We can't say
Yes.
both.
Right, right.
yeah, it's
That's why some
Yeah.
people don't like it.
it's the American somebody's got to win thing going on here.
Well, I also
Yeah.
I have met both Susie and polystyrene, and I really love both of them, and it's very, very hard for me to have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you can abstain. You don't
Well,
have to select
the
them.
first single of I would say Susie Sue, but the first single, "Oh Bondage Up Yours" is iconic. So you can't go any more punk than that. Like little girls should be seen and not heard. Oh Bondage Up Yours.
So you
So,
Yeah, I experienced that growing up. It did not work.
so that's a polystyrene for you, Terry?
Yeah, well, with other songs I would go for Susie and the Banshees. So I'd rather abstain.
all
Okay,
right.
so let's do abstain.
Okay, let's
We're off to a great start.
we might have
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm not
abstinence.
abstaining. I'm
okay.
going to go with Susie. What about you,
Right,
Aaron?
Aaron?
Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with Polly, so I'd have to go with Susie.
Okay.
All right. So,
So that's 50-50.
well, you break.
You're
Oh,
the tiebreaker.
yeah, I haven't. I actually I don't really follow the scene. I'm gonna have to vote Susie just because I know that Philip is absolutely obsessed, and I have actually dressed up as Susie. So, or was that Kate Bush?
Susie.
Okay,
Susie.
yeah, I thought
Kate
so.
Bush and Susie are very
They're
different.
very different. I don't see the
Very,
connection
very
there.
different.
But Philip is very into both, so
Yeah, but
I
it's
don't.
very different
Yeah.
singers. So,
Okay, so I guess Susie moves on. So Patti Smith, or is it Smythe?
Smith.
Smith, okay. Patti Smith versus Alice Bagg.
I
Well,
have to go for Patti Smith because I don't know who the other person is.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
I
Yeah.
know both of them, but it's very difficult to say. Alice Beck was really a pioneer on the West Coast among yes, and Patti Smith was really a pioneer in New York on the East Coast. So again, I would say fair 50-50. I have never met Patty or Alice, by the way, but I okay. So again, undecided.
All
Okay.
right.
All right.
Okay.
So that's 2 for Patty. I'm going to go with Patty also. I only know Alice Bag a little bit because Admin Thea loves
Uh,
her.
I've
That's
got
how.
Okay.
We
I've
should
got the
I,
have
album.
her
I've got
on
the
here.
album
and
Easter from Patti Smith.
Maria, who played drums for some time, had a big, when we rehearsed at her place, there was a big Patti Smith poster on the wall, by the way, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to. I'm gonna abstain as well because I haven't actually heard either of them.
Okay.
So I feel like a complete lack of knowledge leaves me out of
So
the.
this one's a Patti Smith, 3-0.
Right. Okay. Number 3, Mia Zapata versus Wendy O. Williams.
I don't know either one, so I'm going to abstain.
Okay.
Well, again, it will be Wendy or Williams because I don't know the other one.
Okay.
And
And at the time, I thought it was really cool that she was sawing this old American car, full-size car in bits with a chainsaw on the stage
Oh
of
wow.
Paradiso. In those days, she still looked the really beautiful stripper she was. That was before she hardened her look.
Yeah.
And well, I'm very sad about how she ended.
Right. She was very theatrical. I mean, it was
Mm-mm.
like you said, with the chainsaw dismantling the car and all that.
How did she end?
She committed suicide,
Oh,
but I'm not sure
that's never
She dropped off a
how.
mountain or something like that.
Mm.
Couldn't
with a
handle it
mountain.
anymore.
I, I, uh, I, I agree with the choice of Terry because I heard the Plasmatics first record really when I visited Terry in Delft. Then she played it, and I had read a very negative review of the Plasmatics that this is. Punk selling out commercially well. It was in ore, so you should be careful. Ore is a bit of a establishment paper, so you shouldn't trust what they write about punk, really. But then I heard the record at Terry's place, and it was really a good record, really.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Like Rolling Stone, and Melody Maker, all this stuff. They're really not. That's not where you're gonna go read about punk rock, really. I don't
Mm.
think. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
So that's.
Wendy.
So I guess it's gonna
Yeah.
be Wendy for me. And Mia
Okay.
Zapata. I don't know how popular she was outside of Seattle, but she was huge in Seattle. I
Mm.
can't think of the name of her band, but she was a victim of homicide, actually. And
Oh.
she was, it, people believe she would have been a superstar on the projection that she was on.
Mm.
She would have been part of that whole grunge movement and everything. But, um,
Mm.
but Wendy O. Williams, okay, our last one, at least. What's our last one?
The Slits versus the Loos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, the Loos were for me really the start of punk. And but when I came for London in London for the first time in '78, I also was at the Slits gig, and it was really great. And I reported on it in PIN, and later they came to the Netherlands, and I interviewed them. And not so long ago, I was in at the Rebellion Festival in Blackpool, and there I met Palm Olive, who had been the original drummer of the Slits. So really, it again, it's a difficult choice. But well, if someone puts a gun on my breast and say you have to choose one or the other, well, I would say the Loose, because they were really the first punk band which got me really interested into punk. Yes.
Okay. I thought when I made this up, I thought maybe you picked to lose, but it was not
Mm.
an easy choice for you, apparently. What about you, Terry?
Well, it was very hard because, well, the Loos were pioneers. And so I'm a bit biased also because I knew two of them, the bass player and the guitarist. And well, it was,
And the drummer, yes.
and the drummer, yeah, I thought I knew three, and then I thought it was the third one. I forget the one I know the longest, which was the drummer. Um, but I find it very difficult because, well, they were important because they were also the very first all women's band in France at all. So yeah, uh, but the Slits, well, they introduced reggae in punk music in a very clever way, and so they Yeah, I find it very difficult. I think music-wise, I like the Slits better, but they both have a value which is incomparable, really. It's like choosing what we would say in the Netherlands between an apple and a pear.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
can't.
Well, I think Aaron was
Apple
right on.
or orange in English, yes.
Yeah.
Aaron was right on when he said this is probably a very American exercise where one side, some people are
Yeah.
like, I don't want to mess, I don't want to really,
Yeah, somebody's got to win.
I don't look
situation.
at things that way. So it's
I'm
kind
gonna
of
I'm gonna go with the lose just because they come up every time we talk to Herman.
yeah, good
That's a
rationale
very
there.
good reason to do so.
I'm gonna go. Didn't Budgie play for the Slits?
Yes.
Play drums? Okay. So
Yes.
I'm gonna go with the lose. But not for that reason, but
Mhm.
more akin to what Aaron.
Shots fired at Budgie.
I think
Well,
I think you made it
Yeah.
I think you made it very difficult for us to choose on purpose.
Yeah,
yeah.
those are some
Not
tough ones.
really. It just kind of happens that way. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not.
Well, that was just round one. So now we got
Yeah.
round two here, please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
How do they
Susie
line up?
versus Patty Smith.
Susie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Susie too. I've never been at the Patti Smith's concert, but I've been several times at the Susie and the Banshees concert, and also with Susie's new band 2 years ago. Yes, and Terry and me interviewed Susie and the Banshees. Yes.
Nice.
Right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go Susie.
Okay.
This one might be a
Susie.
I
sweep.
think I know what Philip's gonna say. I can make this. Yeah, Susie.
All right.
Right.
Okay. Was that a sweep?
It
That was a sweep.
Oh. Okay. You get to see my new broom. Sweep.
Susie had an easier time in the second round than the first here.
Yep.
But
Okay. Wendy
What's
O.
the next
Williams
one?
versus the Lose.
I would say the Lose. I've never seen Wendy Williams live. I heard her records, it's good, and I've read about her life, but I have not met her personally.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good reasoning. Terry?
Um hard.
Again. Here we go
Yeah.
again.
There's no real stakes either. I mean,
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah,
actually wins a
they
prize or
don't
gets a
win
trophy.
anything.
Yeah.
okay, there's already one for the loose, and I assume there will be more, so I'll go for Wendy O. Williams.
Okay.
So.
I'm gonna go the lose.
Okay.
I'm not
Where
really
we at?
familiar with the plasmatics.
2-1.
Oh,
Wendy.
okay.
Or the lose, I'm sorry.
Right,
The
right.
lose.
I think
Well, for me, it's then
Heidi,
Wendy
you go
Williams, not the
first.
plasmatics, because then the loose win.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
familiar with Wendy O. Williams. I should have said.
I'm gonna let
And her
I'm gonna put
project.
Lisa on the spot. I'm gonna say
Heard of either of them. So
say Wendy O.
I'm going
Williams.
to abstain.
Right.
Okay, so it's 2-2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Lose because I've heard their name before, and
Right.
I have a lot of respect. Not to say that Wendy O. Williams is in any way not great, but I respect Herman. We've spoken to him before, and I know that he has quite a bit of knowledge. So
Yes.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's the
Thank
matchup
you.
we've
Thank
never wanted to ever have to see or do before.
Mm.
What do we got?
Boy, are you
This is for
right, baby.
this is for all the marbles, as they say in
Mhm.
Inglewood, California, wherever.
And there are no actual marbles, not even a statue or a certificate.
Susie Sue versus the Lose. It's a shame it had to come to this.
I'll start. I've actually heard of Susie. I've heard her music.
Yeah.
I've dressed as her. Gotta go with Susie.
All right.
I'm
Well,
sorry, but I'll have to go for Susie because she's a bigger part of my life.
And then there's nothing against any of the persons that are, on here if they didn't win. They made the list. They were nominated.
Right. Just being
It's
nominated.
it's,
is an honor.
Yeah, right?
who made the list? You did.
They made it up.
I made it up.
Philip.
Oh, but
I did it.
It was 100% Philip, not anything against.
I didn't know we were going to do this or not, so I just put one together real quick right before the show.
Which is pretty much how all of
But
our
a lot of
lists
times it
happen.
draws a lot of stuff out,
Mhm.
if we do it
And we
like
get
this.
conversation,
Yeah. So right now we got
So we got Susie. Okay, Herman.
Yeah.
Well, again, a very big problem making a choice,
make you pick
but
between your
they
children here.
both mean very much to me.
Sophie's
Okay.
choice.
Yes.
I would
Um,
like the Lose to win, so
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna-
in that case, the lose maybe
Oh,
because
Okay.
well, uh, Susie is still. I heard what I heard last. She's making a new record, so she's still going. But the news, unfortunately, only the bass player is still alive. So Susie doesn't need it. The news needed more to be still remembered because there were a big influence at the time. They got many positive reactions and also some misogynist negative reactions. But now, Saskia de Jong was the first Dutch punk, and she was slacked off in Oor, but now. She passed away early in this year. There was not an obituary in or I wrote the only obituary as far as I know
That's a little
about
sad.
her.
Yeah.
You've
Well,
swayed me.
I
I'm gonna
never
vote
felt
the lose now.
so it's 2-2.
Okay.
You got to decide.
I voted.
You
I
voted
voted for
first. She
Susie.
voted Susie.
So
I voted first.
I voted, right?
No.
I don't think you
I got to
did. You're
decide.
the tiebreaker.
You were the
Oh,
tiebreaker.
jeez.
Do you
I've never felt like
history or do you go with your heart?
I've never felt more of a jerk.
History or heart?
I've never felt more of a jerk than I have making you decide, but now I feel even worse now that I have to decide. This is because I know that you guys love that band. I know that the Loos are very, you are personally affected by that band and you love that band. And so, but I gotta go with Susie. I gotta go with
All
Susie.
right.
I knows. But so Susie is our champion
All right.
of the episode. So,
Mm-hmm.
but this has been amazing. I always enjoy having Herman on, and now it's even double the pleasure to have Terry.
Yeah, it's great having you both. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming on, Terry.
really
thank you.
enjoyed it. Do you have anything you want to promote? Any websites? Anything that you want to
Social
mention?
media handles or
Well,
charities or events or whatever.
punctuation, I think it's punctuationmac.com if I correct. Yes, but I am the Dutch correspondent, and sometimes I write also about concerts in Belgium. Well, we went, for instance, I went in Terry's car to Leuven in Belgium when there was a concert by Steve Ignorant, formerly of Crash, playing Crash songs, and our first concert was as Cheap and Nasty with Crash in March 1980. The UK subs also played there, and the buyer of the first copy of our EP was Alvin Gibbs, the bass player of the UK subs. He was in 1981, he was the 1980, 81, he was the bass player of the UK subs, and he is their bass player again. And we were opened for the UK subs, and Alvin Gibbs said that when your EP will be out, I should buy the first copy, and he did.
Okay. All
Cool.
right.
Cool.
Terry, do you got anything?
Well, if you haven't heard about them yet, it's high time. Check out Disturbance, our own Rotterdam punk band of nowadays, who just
All right.
celebrated their 30 years existence.
Wow.
All right. Disturbance.
Disturbance.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought she
Well,
said disturbance, and I was like, could you spell that?
Disturbance.
Disturbance.
Yeah.
I did want to say I wanted to kind of give Terry an idea of what audibles are. Aaron's audibles. And what that is it needs to be an album that Philip hasn't heard it's in its entirety so that it introduces him to more music because that is Aaron's goal. And I get dragged in there too. So, I mean, that's fine. I don't retain as much, but that's okay. So, if you wanted to do an episode, what we do is we go through song by song and then we do rank the songs as far as our favorites go. So we give them like points, like 1 through 10 or
So we get that
or
American winner at the end again.
right, yeah. But I mean, that's just kind of a thing that gives it a little flavor for that American ideology, if you will, of win. But
Everything's got to be
so it just gives us more knowledge of the stuff that's out there.
right.
So if there's an
Yes.
album that you can think of and you would like to be on the show, that of course includes you, Herman. That and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them, unless it's
We've done a few
Susie.
Susie albums with
yes,
Herman.
that are
Right.
there
Susie
Right.
does
at the
very good.
Right.
At the moment, there are hundreds of punk bands in the Netherlands, and many of them bring out EPs on their own label, sometimes even LPs on their new label. Many of them are really good bands, really. And also, I also sometimes review records from the UK for punctuation and from Germany. So I would like to come back for another time, and I want to say thank you for the interviews, and thank you, Aaron, for
Yeah, we
clearing
enjoy
up the
talking to you.
technical problems.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
right. We
Phil.
don't
Phil
fix it.
had Phil fixed the technical problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to nominate the record of Disturbance.
All right.
Disturbance. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And,
Let us know when you can come on and we can do that album. Herman, you would of course be welcome as well.
yes.
We like a good group.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
let's see. And is there, I mean, this has been, yeah, thank you for coming. I didn't get to do the intro, so I'll do the outro. Thank you for joining us on Yeah, with Lisa, Phil, and Aaron. This week we were talking with Herman and Terry. I don't have your last names.
the
And
Tollenaar,
that's okay, but we were
Van
talking about
Ditmars.
their band Cheap and Nasty.
Mhm.
And we wouldn't mind doing I know that I haven't heard all of Cheap and Nasty's music or even much of I think I heard you playing a song.
Well,
But I mean, I haven't had that experience.
we've heard the whole Cover Girl album.
Okay.
All right.
I don't remember that, but okay.
You guys have a wonderful
Okay.
day. Really,
Right.
really enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
We
everybody.
look forward to speaking to you more.
Yeah. All right.
yes.
Thanks.
Fine.
Bye.
See you again.